Normal people do not want to have an intellectual conversation about whether or not it's technically pedophilia to stat a 14-year-old. Normal people are like, okay, wood chipper. Let's get the wood chipper. Let's roll it out. Let's put Jeffrey Epstein in feet first. Okay, Jake Shields and Nick Fuentes. I woke up this morning, checked my phone, and big blow up apparently. These tweets from Jake went out at 3 a.m. my time. He's in Eastern. It's not so bad because then it's like 6:30 a.m. It's like, okay, that's a reasonable time to be awake. It's not really a reasonable time to be crashing out. Anyway, Jake says, I famously challenged the 10 toughest trans men to a fight one after the other, and they declined. Now I issue the same challenge to the Groypers. I'll pay them $100,000 of my own money if they win. If I win, they admit they worship a homosexual. Are you pussy ready to die for Nick? The spell. Jake's never beating the CTE allegations or whatever. What is it? The concussion things, homosexual, and then are you pussy ready to die? So I see this, I'm like, oh God, here we go. None of them will do it. Ryan Dawson, big scary tough guy. We're all shaking in our e-booties. You're embarrassed by how fucking dumb you are, and now you're chimping out like an actual retard. Do you accept the fight? So this falling out, I guess, is because Nick is selling these Epstein shirts and he's kind of like joking, and they're all Groypers are tweeting out jokes about Epstein has aura or something. I think that's what happened. I think some Groyper posted a picture of Epstein and was like, I'm tired of pretending like this guy didn't have aura. And Jake was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then they all started piling on him. And this is a thing that happens with the Groypers on Twitter is once they start piling on you, it's really hard to not hate them. They just call you all these names and everything, and you're just like, fuck these people, basically. This is like a pattern I've seen over and over and over. So Jake, he triggered the Groypers, they went after him, and now he's doing this like fight me IRL thing. Fight me IRL. Jake says Nick is basically a Jew. He's had a falling out with 109 friends and he's always the victim. Alex Jones says, no, you are a congenital backstabbing expert with progressive brain damage. Man, big W for Nick getting the Alex Jones ratio on there. There is no going back after. Yeah, you can call a guy gay, short, whatever, but call him a Jew? Someone's got to die at that point. That's to the death now. That's on site. What do the kids say? Nick is basically a Jew. Okay, and so here, this was on Nick's show last night, which I didn't watch, but I guess this is what triggered. This is my rough understanding. I haven't been paying super close attention to it. Nick's doing the Epstein stuff. Jake shed on some guy on Twitter. All the Groypers go after Jake, and now Nick is like talking shit. That's basically what I believe happened. On Saturday, Revelator called in, who is like Nick's like strongest defender on the Daily Cope call-in show, called in to like, I guess, preemptively just defend the whole thing. And then he asked me like, what do you think about it, LP? What do you think about Nick like selling the Epstein shirt and saying Epstein was cool and making these jokes and whatever? And I said, I would like prefer if he didn't. Okay, I get it. There's like an intellectual aspect of like, is it really pedophilia if they're only 16 or whatever, you know? And I've gone down that road. Like when I was covering the Sneeko Moist Critical debate, or years and years ago when I was talking about Milo's big drama way, way back in the day, you get into these sort of intellectual autistic spaces where you're like, let's put morality aside and let's really think about it. There's like an intellectual autistic aspect of it. I just mean autistic in the sense that it's like amoral, basically. And then, no offense to the autists, by the way. And then it's like edgelord humor. It's provocative. It's like, haha, I'm gonna like, you're mad that I said Epstein is cool. I'm gonna double down by selling a shirt and all. So I didn't really care. I said to Revelator, like, I don't think he should do it. And this is why. This fallout is why. Because you get this fallout and it's like, what's the point? All these people who don't like you, you're just giving them more shit to complain about. It's not even that funny, to be honest. I don't think it's like hilarious. And what is the upside? What is the ROI on all of this? Okay, so now you and Jake Shields don't like each other anymore. You're beefing. What is the upside? Nick doesn't need the money from selling the shirts. He has a million ways he can get money. It is kind of a nice shirt.
Try too hard to have a unique take sometime.
The funny thing is it's not even a unique take. I've said this already, but BAP was saying this like 2 years ago, and people who are like BAP adjacent, like Amy Therese, were saying this, and they were saying it's not pedophilia, guys. The girls were all like mostly 16 and 17. And when they start, everybody was like, what the fuck are you doing? And this is what I'm talking about. Normal people do not want to have an intellectual conversation about whether or not it's technically pedophilia to stat rape a 14-year-old. You know, normal people are like, okay, so here in the indictment, Jeffrey Epstein had sex with a 14-year-old girl in his New York mansion. That's what it says in the indictment, like that he was convicted for, by the way. And so normal people are like, okay, wood chipper. Let's get the wood chipper. Let's roll it out. Let's put Jeffrey Epstein in feet first. They don't want to hear, technically it's a phebophilia. Stop calling him a pedophile. It's a phebophilia. You know what I mean? But again, I've done this myself. Okay. So I wasn't like shitting on Nick, or I even like talking about it at all, because it's like, whatever. If you want to have that kind of autistic debate, whatever. But it's not worth it, is all I'm saying. It's not worth it because you just cause more problems for yourself. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, let's hear what Nick says about Jake here.
And Jake, I mean, this guy, how many times are we going to have this public blow up? And every time he apologizes, hey, man, I'm sorry. Hey, man, I shouldn't have said that. Hey, I should have talked to you first. Hey, I didn't see this. You know, but people have this resentment towards me. They don't want to fight me. You know, and then they just accidentally let it slip that they got this big fucking problem with me. I love that. So whatever. I'm just over it. I'm just so over that. You know, guy that literally worships Hitler. Worship Hitler. Hitler's the man. I love Hitler. LOL, the Holocaust. Dude, Hitler was a racial supremacist. They really think that Hitler wanted to create like a wholesome Chungus Democrat socialist country. If Hitler had it his way, they would have killed and enslaved millions of people. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, they go, in their mind, Hitler's like Superman. Like he was an alien that came here to fight for truth, justice, and the American way. He came here to free the Slavs from communism, and he just wanted to destroy pornography. And it's like, no, like he wanted to enslave half of Europe. He wanted to colonize Eastern Europe. He wanted an empire based on racial hierarchy. Hello. He wanted to implement a racial caste system. Jake, your kids aren't even white. In Hitler's Germany, your kids would be...
Nick, I already like Hitler. Why? Like, you don't have to sell me on him.
$5 you can disagree.
First of all, old CivNat Nick is rearing his ugly head here. Jake, your biracial children would be second-class citizens in Nazi Germany. Based? Yeah, not everybody's a CivNat. Not everybody wants to live in a multicultural civic nationalist society. Some people actually do think race matters. Beyond like we want to talk shit about black people on the internet or whatever. So Hitler's actually really evil. He's really bad. He wants to oppress people. He's a tyrant. He wants to oppress people, blah, blah, blah. The whole point, I thought, of joking about Hitler and being ironically detached, as Nick would say, is to take the edge off of this whole, like, are you crazy? Hitler wanted to murder millions of people. Like, I thought that's why because we don't want to do this sort of hysterical thing of like, the reason you can't have a country, white man, is because Hitler wanted to murder millions of people. And it's like, that's so annoying and stupid. We just joke about Hitler and we say we love Hitler. He's cool. He's awesome. Whatever. I thought that was it, and that makes sense actually. Like it makes sense to meme Hitler for that reason, because we don't want to hear people kvetching at us about Hitler wanting to murder millions of people. What I don't understand is how joking about Epstein is high IQ. I'm just too low IQ, I guess. I guess I'm just too low IQ, because when it comes to Epstein, we want to treat it seriously because it's an Israeli blackmail operation and it's completely immoral. And so the whole point is like, Jews are blackmailing our politicians. They're engaged in immoral sexual behavior. Feels like we should take that seriously. I understand the greatest crime you can do on the internet is like clutch your pearls about jokes. And I'm not clutching my pearls or anything. Like I said, I don't care. I didn't talk about it. I ignored it. The whole time this has been going on, I ignored it. But now that it's coming to a head and there's more infighting and what have you, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, what is even the point? What do we accomplish? I guess I'm too low IQ. Like a stigma around adults having casual sex with underage teens maybe isn't the worst thing. You know, like we need to joke about Epstein so that it becomes cool to have casual sex with teens. Do we though, Revelator? Do we need to remove the stigma around age and consent? Is that what the focus should be? Anyway, I'll be really real with you. I don't know about Hitler's plans to conquer Eastern Europe. I read Mein Kampf twice, but it was so long ago and I smoked so much weed that I don't recall. Maybe that wasn't even in Mein Kampf. I don't know that much about like Hitler's ultimate goals. I just feel like the world would be a better place if he accomplished them though. Okay, Jake Shields, multiracial kids would be second-class citizens in Nazi Germany, but is it wrong? Like, what is the bad part? Was he wrong? Would the world be worse if Hitler won? Put a 1 in the chat if you're glad Hitler lost. Hey, Groypers, put a 1 in the chat if you're super glad Uncle Sam took that filthy German down, that filthy crow. What are we doing even at this point? It's so schizo. 1 week it's nigga Heil Hitler. The next week it's like, okay, but he was evil. Like he was actually evil. But nobody actually seriously likes this guy, right? Nick said Hitler wasn't Christian. I disagree.
About, well, when you have kids, you'll feel differently, dude. Like, what do you think Hitler would think about you, bro? And I'm not saying that for any reason other than like, I thought we all understood that we could have this ironic detachment. Like,
if you're gonna ally yourself with like a high profile MMA guy who is not the smartest guy, you have to be a little bit, be a little bit understanding that he's going to say some stupid shit now and then, you know, and not ruin the whole thing by like jumping on him. If you're cool with somebody and you're like, oh, I love that guy, he's awesome, we love Jake, and then things go bad, and then you're like, this stupid motherfucking mongoloid has always been dumber than a rock. Guess what? You look fake. Guess what somebody with 3 IQ points more than you is thinking? They're thinking this person only cares about clout and has no integrity. So that's what I really don't like about these falling outs and these infightings. When you start saying stuff like this guy's always been the most retarded mongoloid on the planet, it's like, oh, so you were just pretending to like him for a year, and now he sucks because he you know what I mean? So all of this stuff out in public is bad, and everybody should chill. People should try to like settle it between them if possible without doing it in public.
This, we could have a mature view of Hitler, and we can sort of have an admiration for how he rebuilt the German state, while also being conscious of the fact that he did commit atrocities, although they were embellished for political purposes. Like, I thought we could have a mature understanding. No, they're not capable of this. They're not capable. For them, it's either Hitler was the devil or he's Jesus. For them, it's all or nothing. In their story, no, it's just reversed. Hitler's the good guy, and the world started when, I don't even know. Like, you ask these people, what happened in the 20th century? They would tell you, well, first the Jews got us into World War I, then the Jews got us into World War II, then they killed Kennedy, then they did 9/11, and then they killed Charlie Kirk. Like, if you asked any of these people, write U.S. history out from start to finish, that's what it would be for them. Couldn't tell you about anything else. So, yeah, it's just getting really irritating. And I'm just about done. I've had it with that. You want to do your podcast and bring the same people on to talk about to give the same speech that you've been giving for 3 years. Knock yourself the fuck out. The podcast where you say, Jews are killing kids. That's a genocide in Palestine, blah, blah. Okay, knock yourself out. We've heard it. We've been there, done that. Like I said, same people, same message, same speech. Go right ahead. I'm actually interested in critical thinking and a political movement. You want a virtue signal and post platitudes, and I'll bet you 2 bits, you won't even be here in 5 years. I'd bet you $1 million These people won't even be here in 5 years. When it becomes unpopular again, they'll be onto something else. Load of shit.
Jesus was not a Jew in all caps. Got it.
That we're getting from them. I've held my tongue long enough. I've had enough. I should be humiliated and apologize. Apologize to fucking who? You? Why am I apologizing to you? Apologize. Blow it out your ass. Fucking apologize. To who? Selling a shirt? You're selling a shirt that resembles a shirt that a bad guy wore? Now apologize to who? Liberals? You? Women? Fuck off. You should be humiliated and embarrassed. You think I'm embarrassed? Fuck you.
Did Jake actually tell him to apologize for the Epstein shit? That's kind of lame. I don't know every little piece of what's been said, but I do kind of stand by my overall assessment that this is like an unnecessary controversy that could have just been avoided by not going down the whole Epstein wasn't a pedophile road. Again, the guy was saying, oh, so you don't care about truth, LP. You don't value truth. I do value truth, but getting on your blowhorn and saying Epstein wasn't a pedophile because the youngest girl was 14 is not a truth that is going to serve you. Does that make sense? Do you understand that? You understand it's not pedophilia if you bang 14-year-olds. What I'm trying to explain is that a normal person doesn't care if that's technically true. They just think you're a freak. And you don't have to say it. Something can be true, and you can know it's true, and you can just not say it.
You should be embarrassed for the shit you post.
Epstein was a pedophile. Actually, the youngest girl was 14, so not technically a pedophile. You can just not do that part. You can just let people call Epstein a pedophile. You can just let them do that. It might be better for everyone if we just let people call Epstein a pedophile.
Every day, it's fucking retarded. Try posting something without a spelling error. Try learning English. I should be embarrassed.
Sent $3. Don't you think it's better to weed out these dummies like Jake? Imagine being a Jew and knowing some dude with Jews on your team and defending your position.
Not really, no. You got to let people do what they're good at. Jake has things that he's good at. He has like a man card as a UFC fighter that a lot of the Groypers don't have. And he's popular. He has the social cash that only comes with doing things in the real world, not the internet. So I think Jake is a valuable ally. I also think he's a good guy, which is like the most important thing. You got to keep in mind, like you can call him stupid till you're blue in the face. And again, that may be true. He's maybe not the brightest guy. But this all started because he was like, I don't think we should joke about pedophiles. Like, he's not a bad guy. So when you have guys like that who they bring a lot to the table, but they also are maybe not the smartest, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to try to work with guys like that and be like, hey, Jake, try to help them out. Try to help them not make mistakes, basically, like sucking up to Muslims too hard or whatever it may be. Also, yeah, Jake has a lot to lose. You know what's a bad look is when somebody like Jake, who has a little bit of status, they put their ass on the line to be a JQer and to do like Holocaust revision debates on their podcasts and stuff. And they bring on all these people like the Patriot Front. What's his name? I can't remember his name right now. Like he goes out, he talks to all these people. He talks to Nick, right? All these people. And then the second he says something you don't like, you're like, fuck this guy. It's like, well, you're not encouraging other people, you know what I mean, to put it on the line. If they're going to get shunned out of polite society and then also rejected by the rest of the right-wing crazies the second they step out of line or do, you know what I mean? So I'm not taking I'm not taking Jake's side on this. I think he's spurging out way more than he needs to be. I also understand that this is what happens when the Groypers go at you. The Groypers, they're prone to making people spurg out with their antagonists. They're very antagonistic, and that antagonism will make people spurg out. So I'm not taking sides. It's just kind of a mess. And the whole thing is like an avoidable mess as far as I'm concerned.
Learn English, bro. This is barely literate. Every post, me no like Jews. Me like Hitler. You should be fucking embarrassed. You should take a fucking English course before you come back on the timeline and tell me I should be embarrassed and I should apologize with that. It's fucking enough already. And here's what I'm pissed off. This guy, you know, every week this is happening. Talking shit on the timeline. I say, hey, bro, what's up? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that, blah, blah. Okay, man.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said Jake has called Nick and was calling Nick a neocon or whatever. And yeah, you know, just, look, man, Jake has some dumb takes. Jake was saying, he was saying, why do white nationalists support like what this white woman getting murdered by ICE, or you know what I mean? And Dan Bilzerian too. I did briefly mention like that was like a stupid take on the show, but again, it's just like I just try not to like shit all over guys who are on our side every time they step out of line a little bit. But putting that aside, if Jake was like repeatedly antagonizing Nick over and over, then yeah, it's understandable you'd lose your patience with that. Though this is why I have a general policy of like really trying to be civil with people. Okay, so Nick is saying, you know, he wants to get rid of Maduro or whatever. It's like maybe you don't agree with that, but you don't have to like call him a neocon. You know what I mean? You don't have to be rude about it. You guys know I critique Nick frequently. I've critiqued Nick a lot, but I always try to do it in a civil way. And if more people were like that, we'd all be able to get along better.
It's all good. Again, oh, Nick is Israel first, blah, blah. Hey, Jake, what the fuck is up with this? Oh, sorry, dude, I should have texted you, blah. Hey, man, it's all good, whatever.
By the way, Beige Frequency, he showed up and he responded again. Okay, so if you missed yesterday's show, Beige Frequency messaged me and he was like, so the Epsteins were running 4chan, total, and right wing is all like a psyop, totally cucked ideology or whatever. And I was like, isn't that a reason to be anti-Semitic though? He came back like 30 hours later and he was like, no, because most Jews aren't Zionists. And I read that and I was like, what the fuck? And then I immediately like went to Grok and I was like, hey Grok, what percentage of Jews globally support or like are Zionists? And Grok was like about 90%. I went back to him and I was like, my nigga in degeneracy, where are you getting this from? And then he was like, okay, but don't you think it's weird that there's like a brown Gestapo murdering white people in the street? Just a total pivot to that. And I do think it's unfortunate that there are brown people in America. Yes, but those white people were acting like the world's biggest retards. Those were like the most preventable deaths. Those were like the most Darwin Award deaths. Alex Pretty's was a little bit more unlucky.
$5. We just got a half Hail Mary play with the Epstein stuff and everyone is focused on intra-warfare.
Yes.
I'm so sad. This is why Jays win.
Thank you. That's a very good point. Yesterday, I was talking about how happy I was. We should be doing victory laps right now. We should be doing victory. We should be memeing the Goyim, that word, nonstop. Everybody should be saying Goyim, Goyim in abundance. People should be starting a ska band called Goyim in Abundance, not whatever this is. Anyway, Alex Pretty was a little bit more unlucky than Renee Good. She was a little unlucky. He was a little bit more unlucky, but ultimately they were both absolute retards.
I mean, literally the other day, I think yesterday I texted Jake. I said, so we going to do this every month now? He goes, you're right. I shouldn't have said that. That was dumb. I shouldn't have told you to apologize, blah, blah, blah. I said, hey, I know you don't mean any harm. I don't hold a grudge. It's fine. Today, all day. Dude, like, you know, you just shouldn't be in this. Clearly you have no discipline. You have no self-control. I thought I had no self-control. That's next level. Clearly you have no control over your actions. You know, maybe you should just stick to something else, like serious. How are we going to have a movement no one can disagree? Everybody has to think the same thing. Everybody has to, I mean, it's getting really...
This is I agree. So I agree with Nick here. People have to be able to disagree, and it doesn't turn into name calling and all this sort of like, he's a wall kisser, he's gay, he's Jewish, this and that. Don't hold your breath, because it's always been like this, and it seems like it always will be like this.
No, we can make...
I don't play saxophone, bro. I play trumpet, or I used to play trumpet.
Holocaust jokes, that's really funny and edgy, but you can't joke about that. It's getting really suffocating. People telling me, hey, you're not on the team if you don't believe this. You're not on the team if you don't agree with this. ICE sucks. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Greenland. The Jews killed Charlie Kirk. That's not funny. You need to apologize.
Rises sent $3. Nick drops text conversation with Jake.
I assume this is just going to be a repeat of what he was just saying, of how Jake needs to stop calling him out or whatever. Are you bipolar or something? We going to do this? Yeah, he was just saying this on the show. Who do I need to apologize to for making jokes about Epstein, and apologize for what? Hurt feelings you're offended on behalf of the victims have gone totally insane. Uh-oh, typo, you lose. Groypers thought Jake was dumb for doing typos. Well, little bit hypocritical when Nick has a whole word missing. You make Holocaust jokes every single day. How is that any different? Do you think nobody was murdered or tortured by the Nazis? Honestly, I do think, I've already explained this, but I do think one is better. I think it's better to joke about Hitler than it is to joke about Epstein, but I won't repeat that whole spiel. You defend Hamas which murdered, at the end of the day, joke about whatever you want. Again, I'm not going to tell people you shouldn't do that, but if you're asking me my opinion, that's what it is. You defend Hamas, which murdered and kidnapped people and uses a suicide bombing as a tactic. Hitler's regime killed millions of people. Epstein groomed girls into sex. If you want to be the police for making jokes, then you have to be consistent. Jake says, saying you need to apologize was retarded, but also wearing the shirt isn't a good look. I get it's a joke, but at least Hitler is cool. Hard to argue with that part. I don't know. The whole Epstein is cool thing kind of really fell apart once we heard him on camera talking, didn't it? The guy had way more aura when he was just in pictures, and then you hear him talk and he sounds like Woody Allen. As soon as I said that, I regretted it and almost called, but figured no point. Like I said, I think it's stupid to wear the shirt, but saying you should apologize is totally hypocritical because I very rarely apologize. I get why you wore it, but I think it's a big miss, especially with all the shit coming out. But you are also saying we are retarded for going on Upschooled. Upscrolled. I made an account on Upscrolled just to protect my handle because some retard is pretending to be me on Blue Sky, or they were. I assume they've probably gotten bored by now. We should want an app that is free speech. Also, this is no excuse because I'm dumb for doing it, but I tried ketamine? No, Nick, no. Why are you sharing this? I tried ketamine right before Sneeko called and was an idiot. I text Sneeko right after, but it was live. So, oh no. What are we doing, guys? He can't take it down. I've talked shit on you twice, yet I still do respect you for all you've done. I don't know what to say because if I was you, I would be mad at me. I never called you retarded. I just said Upscrolled is garbage and people were shilling it. I wasn't talking about you. There are people being paid to post about it 100 times per day like that Palestinian kid, but I don't know why you are piling on. Everyone is already attacking me and you're saying I should be humiliated and apologize. You are right. And honestly, ask Nico. I text him right after, but it was live. Why after this conversation did Jake suddenly start calling Nick gay and asking Groypers? Like, what happened? What was it just Jake Shields like replying to a Groyper about their Epstein tweet? Or like, what happened even? I don't get it. Anyway, ketamine. Like Roseanne Barr taking Ambien.
It's like, okay, man, I'm out. You want to have...
I don't, yeah, I'm kind of on Nick's side. If I have to take a side, I'm going to take Nick's side because I don't know, after reading that text conversation, I don't know why Jake would then go out and start shit again. I would have to hear his reason, what caused him to start kicking up shit again, because it just doesn't make any sense.
Have this purity spiraling movement. Hey, good luck. Lots of luck. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Let's see where you...
Ketamine, the old K-hole. I never did ketamine. I remember like back in my raving days, there was people messing with that, but I heard it was dangerous. Even as like as a recreational drug user who tried smoking crack and meth and stuff like that, I was always kind of careful. I was always kind of like, I'm here for a good time. I'm not here to get hooked and ruin my life. So I never did try ketamine.
You are in 5 years. The Fight Back podcast, hey, good luck, buddy. You do it your way. I have no enemies, okay? No grudges. I'm not coming after you, but I'm not coming on your podcast. I'm done with that. You go your way, I'll go
Come on my podcast, Nick. At least Jake can get a text back.
mine. You try it your way, I'll try it my way. You go and run for Congress. God help us. The day that Jake Shields is in Congress. You even know what Congress is or does? For fuck's sake. I'm thinking about running for Congress. Bro, you don't know anything. So hey, knock yourself out. Try and run. And you have it your way. Okay, pal? I'll do it. You don't like my methods. You don't understand it. Good news. You don't need to understand it. It's a free country. Knock yourself out. You do it your way. I'll do it my way. Always have. It's been like this for 10 years. It just get goofy people and there's just no like respect. I've been doing this for my whole life. I know more than you, more successful at this than you. I don't like being treated this way. I've paid a steep price to have editorial freedom on my show. I paid a steep price to be able to say whatever I want. I'm not going to be cowed by numbskulls. These cocksuckers think like, they're going to shame it. Nick said this on Twitter. Hey, fuckface, Twitter ain't real life. Okay, tweet more crap about me like I care. It's totally,
real.
Oh, no, don't tweet
that's the
anything bad
thing.
about me.
Like, that's the thing. I agree with that. And like, Jake just isn't smart enough to know like, okay, Nick is making jokes. I don't like him. Ignore it. That's what I did. Just ignore it. You don't got to comment on every little thing. People be tweeting too much. It's part of the problem. People feel like they got to address everything. Every little thought that goes through their head has to be put out on Twitter now.
I need to be liked by this.
Don't see something you don't like. You can just ignore it. You can just not say anything.
This island of misfit toys. Get a life.
People need to work on their tactical ignoring. I'm trying to think of a different word than ignoring, but anyway, right? Jake can ignore Nick's Epstein jokes. Nick can ignore people calling Epstein a pedophile. We can all tactically ignore certain things and life will just be easier for everybody. I said Jake did something I really don't like, and here it is. I saw this. Jake said, I've already had an extremely successful career and do the podcast as a hobby. I've been nothing but respectful to Nick and got him on big podcast when nobody would touch him. I haven't ignored him being as homosexual. You all know this is true, but apparently he wants war with me. I wonder this thing about getting him on the big podcast, if that's true. Like, did Jake get Nick on the PBD? What was the first big podcast Nick did? He did Candace and PBD. Those were like two of the early ones that happened before Tucker and stuff like that. I don't know. Timeline's getting a little hazy, but anyway. Anastasia Lupus says he's not a homosexual. You just don't understand him at all. Jake says, I know things that I'm not sure I'll share, but we all know this is true, including you. We all knew we just liked what he was saying. So I hate this kind of shit, man. This is like Milo Yiannopoulos tier. Oh, he was on Fresh and Fit before Jake Shields was even in the scene, man. He was debating Destiny on Fresh and Fit like 3 years ago or something. I do not like it when you're like, I can prove something really bad about somebody, but I'm not going to. When you say stuff like that, that really pisses me off. Yes, very Milo coded. Very like, trust me, if you've seen what I've seen, you would know he's gay. I hate when people do that on principle. It's like put up or shut up. So there's that. Tried ketamine. Dude, not even once. And Jake said, I think Nick Fuentes is an extremely talented speaker and helped wake up thousands of people when it was truly unpopular. I will always hold massive respect for what done, but as a friend, he's been nothing but two-faced, untrustworthy, and disloyal, so fuck him. Good grief. Funny thing about Nick is he's so divisive that it's like you really can go either way. Like you can be pro Nick and lots of people will be happy about that, And you can be like anti-Nick, and lots of people will be about that. That applies to like most people at it once they get to a certain size. But I guess with Nick, it's just a little more true. Like the people who like him really like him, and the people who hate him really hate him. Yeah, I don't think Nick is gay, for the record, although I'm somewhat agnostic on, who knows? Who knows what goes on in the hearts and minds of men?